And our very first paper this morning is Daily Nation. That's what we're going to on a Thursday morning. Daily Nation is indeed packed. It has on the header there, fallout in Ruto camp as US wades into row. Fallout in Ruto's camp as US wades into row. US senator meets rival camps as Western nations call for a peaceful resolution. So this peaceful resolution is a bit neither here nor there. William Ruto is saying you could go ahead and protest, but please make sure you do not defy law and order or ensure that there are reprisals or issues that will affect the economy while you're carrying out your industrial action or your protest, if you put it that way. But Raila Odinga, on the other hand, is saying we're protesting because we feel the results were not correct. The results from the elections that were held, I did not lose. Secondly, we need to sit down and talk. Raila is still looking forward to that handshake, which he usually carries out. He's done that before in the time of Uhuru Kenyatta. A handshake that would see him also have a major stake in the affairs or running the affairs of Kenya. And Ruto is saying no. So let's see what the US envoy, or you could say the peaceful resolution being called for, will actually lead to, especially in the case of...
How much impact will they have? Raila Odinga has been very strong on his position. Mm-hmm. I watched an interview where he was asked if he would take responsibility for the outcome of this protest, because we're seeing that the protests, unfortunately, have turned destructive. It has affected people's businesses.
Exactly.
And will he take it upon himself that, it's his fault? And he's saying, that he's saying Kenyans are not just protesting because of anything else other than the fact that they want to take back their country in some sense. And then he gives terms and conditions for which that meeting with Ruto will happen. Apart from the fact that they must open election service, which we don't know if it's going to really happen. He's complaining about high cost of living, talking about how, like you mentioned, his mandate has been stolen. That's the most popular phrase in Nigeria now, stolen mandates. So his mandate has been stolen and needs access to the election service. The question is, will William Ruto allow that happen? That begs the question whether this protest really is motivated by personal reasons or genuine concern for the cost of living in Kenya.
That's right. Let's take a look at some of the other headlines very quickly. Kenyatta farm raid. Reports of split in government over brazen invasion on former president's property. Many have said that the raids on his farm shows that there is an internal crisis even within his own camp.
And they have pointed fingers at the government.
Exactly.
And saying, okay, do you have...
and the government is saying, nah, no proof
to say that the government actually did
Exactly.
this.
Protest on Azimio to go ahead with demonstrations even after meeting U.S. Senator Chris Cohn's church leaders. Tough edict, it says. Interior CS Kindiki puts violent protesters on notice even as he vows to protect Kenyans' business. On and off and on again. Well, you can read all about it. Daily Nation, why I really love the Daily Nation, I must say this, they take time to dissect the stories and break it down into bits and pieces. Even prior to the elections, they were giving you countdown like never before. But that's all we're going to take from the Daily Nation.
All right, let's head to Uganda and see the Daily Monitor. On the front page, we have districts lose billions in massive pay scam. We have here some of the losses: 19 billion shillings, 3.8 billion shillings, 24.9 billion shillings, and 2.9 billion shillings. There's a photograph here, and it says, Peace Mission, UPDF flags of 5,000 soldiers to DR Congo. Uganda and Kenya signed trade deal on page 6. Iron Sheets protesters face charges. The Iron Sheet scandal has been a conversation that has been going on, and it's been on the front pages for a while now. Catholic Church marks 10 years of Pope on page 2. Congratulations to the Catholic Church. We also have here, districts lose billions in massive pay scam. Okay, I took that earlier. I think that's all the stories that we have this morning on the front page of the Daily Monitor. Let's head to the West and see what's happening here in Nigeria.
All right, so in the West here, Punch is the paper we're going to. The Punch. Front page there. Arrest interim government plotters. APC PDP tells DSS. We're going to also focus on this story. The DSS, as at yesterday, came out to state that there are plans to interrupt, to scatter, to ensure that the handover will not hold come May 29 in Nigeria following the presidential elections and the results. Well, saboteurs planning court orders protest to stop Tinubu's inauguration. Agency says interim government alien to constitution. Campaigners pseudo-democrats say APC PDP. Read all about that. 26 children, 125 adult Libyan returnees land in Lagos. You can see them there all the way from Libya. And we do know what's also going on in Libya, who have indeed ensured that they want to do all they can to block their borders. Ramadan, election riggers, Yahoo boys fasting in vain, says clerics. Cleric says if you are a Yahoo boy and you are engaging in all of these acts, but yet you are fasting, your fast is in vain.
And that's a very valid point to highlight there, because it's counterproductive to what you're doing.
Yeah. Update. Whitney. Chrisland school workers trial begins today. So the school, the Chrisland school trial begins today. The workers, and of course the issue of the death of Whitney and so on. And
I'm actually glad that went to court and wasn't something that was just swept under the carpet.
That's it. Well, the punch is loaded, but because of time, we can't take all of that. But if you have time, why don't you pick yourself up, walk around, and go ahead, browse, or go by and get to read the punch. Well, that's it. That's all we have here this morning on the front pages of the newspaper. The second hour, we'll come back with another look at the front pages from across the continent of Africa. In the meantime, our top story.